Hello everyone, my name is Alex and today I would like to make a video about trading. And what better place to start to talk about trading in EVE Online than here in JITA 4.4. Now, when I went out recently onto the great internet to look for videos about trading, the vast majority, essentially almost all of them, were covering one particular type of trading, and that is station trading. Now, station trading is great. This is the place where a lot of people have made really big fortunes. So, of course, this is an area where a lot of players are interested in cutting their teeth in trading. But trading is a lot more than station trading. Station trading is just one type of trading, all right? But there's other types of trading as well that you can do quite well in, even very well in, that also does not have the ferocious level of competition that you have in station trading. But before I jump in to talk about trading on a larger level, I would say on a regional trading level or even larger, I think it's worthwhile to talk about what trading is. And this is something I don't see a lot of people cover. The actual theory that lies behind trading. And I think if you understand the theory behind trading, you'll have kind of the correct lens to view things in EVE Online on being a successful trader. Okay. So when you ask someone about trading, it's like, oh, come on, Alex, it's very simple. I mean, you buy low, you sell high, rinse, wash, and repeat. I mean, how hard can it be? Well, my feeling about trading is that it's like the same with weight loss. Oh, your weight loss, you just eat less, exercise more. Well, if it was simply that easy, we would not have a problem with weight, at least particularly here in the US. There's a lot of theory that underlines trading, okay, that I think one needs to go through. So what is trading? Well, buying low, selling high is a mechanism of trading. It's probably the primary mechanism of trading, okay, but it is not the foundation of trading. And what better way to explain this than this? That's right, an Excel spreadsheet. You don't have a legitimate EVE Online video unless you bring in Excel at least once in your video. I don't care who you are. You could be a fighter pilot, you could be whatever. You got to have an Excel spreadsheet at least once. All right. But this one's very, very simple. So what does a trader do? Well, a trader fundamentally does is they facilitate the transaction between one party and another in EVE Online. So right here, as an example, we have three parties. And just an example, we're going to use a miner who's mined raw materials in EVE Online, and the industrialist who needs those raw materials to create their product. Let's say a battle cruiser or whatever. Okay. Now, ideally, the miner here would have their materials and they would sell directly to the party that was interested in them directly without using the market screen or whatever at an agreed upon price or whatever. So the miner has all their, titanium, they have pyrite, they have mexilon, isogen, magnesite, all that good stuff. And the industrialist needs that. Okay. The problem is that these two parties don't know each other. They have no contact with each other. They're not in the same place. And also they're not in the same time, which I'm going to get to in just a minute. Okay. So what a trader does is they facilitate the transaction in between the miner and industrialist and create the market that allows both of these entities to function, okay, without each one trying to find their corresponding partner on themselves, all over the place, trying to find, okay, there's an industrialist, I got to call every single industrialist in EVE Online and see who's going to buy my minerals. No, we have a market for this. That is where the trader comes in. So what minerals are is what we would call an illiquid asset. Okay, minerals can only be used for one thing, and that is in production. Okay, same with ice and any other type of consumable. There is only one currency in EVE Online, and that is ISK. I know some people could probably make an argument that Plex is also a type of currency, but it's actually one directional, so it's not really a currency. Only ISK is the real currency in EVE Online. Okay. So what happens here? I'm going to use insert and shapes. We're going to use arrow here. Is that rather than the miner going directly to the industrialist, I'm going to make this red. I'm going to make this a little bit larger here. Yeah, this is not feasible. You can't have a miner in, say, Iridia, who has the materials, find their industrialists in, say, Metropolis, that will agree to that. They don't know where each other are. Okay. But what the trader will do is they'll come along and say, so you know what, miner? I'm not an industrialist, but what I'll do is I will buy your minerals right now. Okay, across New Eden. Okay. And I will give you ISK for those minerals today. I will give you money in your hand today. And that miner can then take that money and use it to buy more ships. They can buy more modules. You know, a lot of times they do mining on the side and they're actually a PvPer and they need money for ships and, you know, things go kablooey and things like that. Okay. So instead of the miner selling directly to the industrialists, who they don't know where each other are, okay, the miner is going to sell immediately at the market price to the trader, okay, and the trader will give back. I'll make another arrow here to the miner. Let's make this green. Yeah, the trader is going to give ISK to the miner. So there's the transaction. The trader creates a buy price. I will buy your minerals at this price, and the miner can sell immediately those minerals into the buy order and get their ISK, okay, and then move on. And most importantly for the miner is that they're not sitting on top a pile of minerals that really cannot be used to buy, quote, another ship or whatever. Only ISK can be used to buy another ship. Okay, so for the miner, a good miner, it behooves them to get those minerals off their hands, get the ISK, and either A, go back to mining, or do something else with that ISK. ISK is the liquid asset. The minerals are not the liquid asset. Okay, now, next step, for the trader, okay, the trader now has those minerals. And the trader is willing to sit on them. Okay, so the trader is going to take those minerals, turn around, and create a sell order. Okay, and what will happen is this transaction will occur in reverse. Actually, it's the other way. The industrialists, right, will go onto the market and like, okay, I need to buy these minerals to create the battle cruiser that I'm manufacturing. So the industrialists will not need to go to the miner. They will go to the trader, okay, which will be you, and you created the sell order, and there is a price difference. This is your profit margin. This is the probably low self-high portion of it. But the industrialist is going to come in and like, okay, I need to buy these minerals to make my ship. The industrialist gives the money to the trader, and the trader turns around and gives the illiquid assets, the minerals, to the industrialist. So the industrialist here is now all set. They buy the minerals as they need them, and that is also beneficial to the industrialist because the industrialist doesn't need to sit on a massive stockpile of minerals, far more than they need. Although quite a few do, but yeah, there's different reasons for that. But in a theory sense, the industrialist can keep the liquid asset, their ISK, until they need to use it, and buy the illiquid asset, the minerals, as they need it. So for both parties, for the miner and the industrialist, the key thing for them is to minimize the time that they are holding on to illiquid assets and to maximize the time that they're holding on to liquid assets, namely ISK. Okay, and you as the trader is the connecting point in this. Okay, because you can facilitate that instantaneous transaction of an illiquid asset into a liquid asset. Yeah, and then provide the illiquid asset to the interested party, and then provide the illiquid asset to the trader, and then provide the illiquid asset to the industrialist. Okay, at a higher price when they need it. Yeah. And this cuts out the portion of them trying to find each other, and they only need to go to you. And that is where the profit is. Okay. You buy low and you can sell them high. Why? Because you are providing a service, a very valuable service in facilitating time and facilitating liquidity into the market. Okay. If the trader does not exist, the market becomes incredibly illiquid. Things become very difficult to move. The trader is the central hub of the economy in EVE Online. Okay? And that is how a trader needs to view this. Okay, you're facilitating a transaction. Okay, yes, buying low and selling high is the quote mechanism of that, but understanding how every interested party works is a key part of being a successful trader. Okay, and I also mentioned the component of time, because while the miner wants to sell immediately, that does not mean the industrialist wants to buy at that same moment. Let's say you as a trader buy 100 million titanium from the miner. That does not mean you're going to find an industrialist at that same moment who's willing to buy 100 million titanium at that same moment. You're going to have one industrialist that may want to buy 20 million. You may have one industrialist who only needs to buy 1 million, to cap off a job or whatever. Okay, so there's an element of time here that the trader is willing to accept. Okay, that the trader is going to have a stack of illiquid assets on their hands. Okay, that over time is going to be converted to liquid, i.e. converted to ISK. Okay, so you buy 100 million of titanium, you set up a sell order for 100 million titanium, and then one industrialist after another buys what they need until your sell order is completed. Yeah, that is the fundamental function of trading. Now, let's jump back into EVE here. So here we are in JITA. Now, when you look at products, when you look at what to trade, how to trade it, and where to trade it, okay, there's a lot of different attributes that come into play here that you have to take care of. And in this video, I am not going to really spend a whole lot of time on station trading. It's not my area of expertise, and there are much more better videos that can cover station trading than I do. Okay, and many great station traders, and they're pretty easy to find. But comparing station trading to the theory I just explained, what station trading does is it cuts out two attributes that you have to worry about. Okay, in station trading, let's say here in JITA or MAR or Dodixie or RENS or HEC, there's a couple things you no longer have to worry about. One, you don't have to worry about the volume of what you're buying. You have essentially infinite storage for that volume. Okay, so it does not matter if you buy 100 titanium or 100 Fortizars or 100 battleships. Okay, and this is probably where EVE Online separates from reality for a little bit. You don't have to buy storage space for what you get. It's essentially a non-factor. So that is one advantage. You cut out the logistics portion of the transaction. You don't have to move what you buy from one location to another location. Okay, so that makes it very easy in that regard. The second big advantage to station trading is you have a very large market of both buyers and sellers. So here in JITA 404, that miner and that industrialist, in many times, rather than selling where they're currently at, will come to JITA, come to the market, and do their transaction there. Okay, so that cuts out the space portion that I described before, but does not count out the time portion. Yeah, the miner still wants to sell, their goods as quickly as possible, get that cash back, while the industrialists that come in wants to buy that minerals that was sold, but doesn't need to buy all of them, and that will be stretched over a period of time. Or if someone needs them in 2 weeks, they're going to come in and buy them in 2 weeks, for example, assuming your sell order is still there. Okay? So those are the two key advantages of the trade hubs, your JITA 4.4, your Amar, your, again, Dodixie, Rans, and Heck, and things like that. Okay. Now, the downside to Jason trading is take a look at the local chat. Even right now, on the middle of a lazy Saturday afternoon, we have nearly 2,000 people in JITA 4.4. All right. The competition in JITA and Amar and the other trade hubs is ferocious. Okay. You're here as a trader. It seems like so is everybody else. Okay. And the result is that your profit margin, your buying low to sell high, is going to get squeezed very quickly. In fact, it's going to be squeezed to such an extent that it'll be almost zero. Okay. Which will take out the profit portion of doing trading. So a lot of people that do station trading, they're not really trying to do an instantaneous, what we call price arbitrage, okay, on some goods, but rather the big players are capturing larger market moves, okay, rises in ships, in materials, and things like that have larger moves. So if I open up the regional market here, let's take a look at, let's just say whatever here. Let's take a look at, let's say battleships, standard. Let's say we're looking at, let's say look at Megathrons. Look at the price history here. Okay. Okay, so Megathron, kind of fairly even, but what traders will do is capture these rises in the overall price. So there's one around here. There's a very large spike. That's kind of an outlier here, but you also had to run up to here. This was probably a good time if you can capture where the market is low. Okay, kind of similar to a stock market. Yeah, but rather than trading in stocks, you're trading in goods. Of course, you can lose your shirt if you buy high, the market crashes, and you need liquidity immediately, and sell low, you're going to have a massive loss. Okay, this is more, again, speculation. And EVE Online is, frankly, one of the best games to play in speculative markets. It's actually also a great learning tool in doing speculation that can even be applied in real life, because you can learn some good and hard lessons in speculation. Okay. But again, people who are selling in JITA are also buying in JITA, so you don't have to worry about movements. So JITA actually functions as more of a stock market than a regional trade hub for a lot of traders. Okay. Now, a couple of things about trading, and right now I'm actually going to switch characters here and go to my main character here, and we are going way out into the boonies. We're going to the Curse region in Nullsec. Okay, and this is where I'm going to explain quite a few things. Fire up the map, and here we are in EVE Online. JITA is up here in the Forge, and now we're down here in the Curse region. Okay, this goes back to what I was talking about in the theory. Your customer base is now down here in Curse. Okay, and it's very important to understand. So it could be in Curse, it could be in Great Wildlands, it could be in Molden Heath, those type of places. And in Lulsec and Nullsec, you progressively become farther and farther away from the major trade hubs. Okay, and this is a major aspect of trading. So now, we no longer have the advantages of being in JITA 4.4. You can't put a JITA 4.4 in every single region. Okay, there's only one JITA 4.4, there's only one Amar, there's only one Dodixie, and that is for a reason. Okay, it's just how things developed. Historically, for a lot of players may not know this, the reason why Jita 4.4 exists was that when EVE Online was very first released, that was where the level 4 Caldari Navy mission agents were, like the top ones. So that's where a lot of people ended up, because everyone went Caldari when the game first came out, and that's where kind of a critical mass of population developed, and here we are. Now there's no more agents in Jita 4.4, because that crashed the server. But historically, that's why Jita 4.4 happens to be at Jita. Okay, it was actually because of Caldari mission agents. Okay, so now we're down here in Curse. So Curse is an NPC pirate space. So for the trader that wants to trade in nullsec or lowsec, or at least away from the main hubs, okay, you have to have a good understanding of really where the opportunities are and really where you can trade. Okay, now I enjoy trading in nullsec. Okay, I've cut my teeth in nullsec. I like being out here. I like the risk of nullsec, and also the profit margins can be very high. Okay, however, there's only certain areas in nullsec that have NPC stations where you can dock at without needing to create some sort of agreement with the owning alliance that's in that region. So those regions are, for example, Curse, with Angel Cartel and Serpentis, Great Wildlands for the Thuker tribe. You get Stain down here with Sancho's Nation. You got Venal up here for Stas, things like that. And there's other stations around as well. As a solo free trader, okay, you want to be able to facilitate the transaction between two different parties, and a lot of times those parties are going to be between high sec and null sec. And the way to really think about this is to put yourself into your customer's shoes. Okay, and you'd be surprised how many traders and salespeople never do this. Okay, I actually took a stint in one of my jobs for a little while in corporate sales, and even I was surprised how many experienced salespeople don't do this. All right, you have to have a good understanding of who you're selling to, what their needs are, what they want, okay, what they need, really, okay. And a lot of times it's not what you think it is. So if we go down here to Curse, okay, so what type of people are in Curse? Very experienced PvPers, some experienced industrialists. You have a whole hodgepodge of people. And the nice thing is you don't have a lot of alliance politics and shenanigans going on. It is free NPC space. Okay. So everyone is it's kind of like the Moss Eisley of EVE Online, basically. You have all these kind of riffraff that show up, and scoundrels and things like that you can sell to. But what do they need? Okay. And this leads to another point of being a good trader. Before you actually go into trading, spend time with the target customer's profession that you want to trade to. Okay. So if you were a miner, okay, and you got good at mining, and now you're going into trading, you know the customer base for miners. Okay. You know what they need. You know what chips they want. You know what chips they need out in 0.0. You know the ancillary type of equipment. Maybe they need some towers with intensive refining arrays, to do like long range type of mining, which I've done before. Can be quite profitable. Or let's say you're a PvPer. You know the meta right now. Okay. You know what chips are popping. You know what doctrines are being used. You know what to sell into that. Okay, and that comes to become very valuable information as a trader. Okay, if you're a logistician and or an industrialist, you know what you need in order to function in your profession. So many times a good trader won't start off right from the start of the game when they start playing as a trader. They'll have done something first. Yeah, maybe actual several professions first, and then go into trading and be very successful at it. Yeah, it's the old adage of hunters being the best gamekeepers. Okay, so let's go back here. Now we're going to take some market analysis here. So that being said, let's actually put it to practice. And we're going to go up to the regional market screen. We're going to take a look, see what's around. Okay. Now in the cursed region, right now, at the time of this video, the region's actually fairly well supplied in most cases. Okay. So it's got a pretty good assortment of ships, you know, several cruisers. Frigates don't seem to be a problem. You got all sorts of frigates and I think even some battleships up here as well. Standard. Yeah, we even got some good assortment of battleships. So right now, and this is not always the case, but right now Curse is pretty well served. One of the things to do, or one of the ways to look at, is who, again, as I mentioned, who's your target audience. So if you come to Curse, and let's say you did exploration before, then what you want to look at is, of course, covert ops frigates. Do we have covert ops frigates? Okay, yes, we got a Cheetah, Galante. Oh, we don't have the Helios here. So if there's an explorer that's been skilled up into Galante, they're out of luck when it comes to the Curse region. Okay. Some other times, you're going to come here, and actually there's a fair number of cheetahs that are available on the market. But what about the equipment that's needed for the cheetah? Do you have the covert ops equipment? So if we go to ship equipment, and we go to it's electronics, and we go to cloaking devices, do you have the covert ops cloaking device? Again, a pretty good assortment of cloaking devices here, and yes, there's one nearby. So a lot of times you're going to have the ship in one place and the equipment needed on the other side of the region. Okay, that's another opportunity for you. So just because you see it on the market does not necessarily mean that it's worthwhile for the buyer to travel that far. You need to present a convenience factor, I should say. So rule number one, again, know your audience. Rule number two, look spatially where things are. Okay. Are things connected? Now, right now in Curse, this G-0 system, this is the new system that's next to Zarzak. So now kind of a trade hub has been established in that area. Okay. But let's go further here. So you got a pretty good assortment of people here. So this market is actually fairly well stocked. Okay. So how many opportunities are there in the market? Well, here you're going to compete against other players. You're going to compete against other traders for a limited customer base. So this is one thing you got to keep in mind. The customer base in nullsec is small. All right. You're not going to have a high amount of turnaround. This is the opposite of what you saw in G244. G244, you had a very high level of turnaround or sales volume at low margin. Nullsec, you're going to have high margin, but very low level of sales volume. Okay, so they're on polar opposites. All right. Now, if we go back to the regional market here, let's say we look at ammunition. Let's say we look at hybrid chargers, because there are Serpenta stations which do go into Galente. Well, look at this. There's almost no ammunition here. So we have ships, we have equipment, but ammunition is pretty low. So if you look at the small level scale of ammunition, all right, there's only one seller of that ammunition. And actually right now it's me. So I noticed this. It's the one blueprint that I have. This is what's called healing the market. All right, if you notice something that there is nothing at all in that market, and it's a consumable like ammunition, it can be very worthwhile to what we call heal the market, because now ammunition and charges and things like minerals, they're not that skill dependent. And the less skill dependent of what you're selling, the broader customer base you're going to have. Okay. Now, of course, the more experienced people say, well, let's look at the faction charges. And here we got, Caldari Navy matter, and this is all good for PvP. Now, the market does show that there's some others here, but they're all empty. So I don't know, there's a little bug going on right now. But even faction charges for a small ship are very limited. They're only the Caldari Navy antimatter. Okay. Advanced railgun here, some here, but again, look at spatially here. So the system next door, G-Not, is selling a large amount of Null for 250 ISK a pop. That is a lot. While on the other side of the region, a good 6 or 7 jumps away, there's even a larger amount for 47 ISK. But here's the issue. If you're a player and you're on my side of the region, is it worthwhile or even safe for you to fly from where I'm at right now, go 6 jumps to CL-85 just to buy ammunition? No, it's not. Okay. If you could present a sales here, you can even sell it for, let's say 60 ISK or something not outrageous. Okay. They'll instantly take your buy, even though there's something cheaper that's on the other side of the region. So there's a real convenience factor that comes into play. Okay. Because again, it's not just time, it's also space. If I'm a PvPer, I need ammunition. I don't want to be going to the other side of the region to get ammunition. Or even bigger than that, I don't want to have to go to HiSec to get something that I need fairly quickly. And this is where the profit is. As a trader, okay, you're not just buying high, selling high, buying low, selling high. You're providing a solution to a problem. That is the best type of trader. Okay, if I'm a PvPer and here I am, and I want to buy some Void here. Look at this Void. And I have a brand new frigate that uses hybrid ammunition, Heartbeat, or a Daredevil, or something like that. I don't want to be flying 6 jumps to just pick up some ammunition. Okay, and not to mention, because we're nullsec, you can also easily run into a bubble or a gate camp or something like that. All right. If you come to me and says, Alex, I will sell you a Void ammunition for like 80 ISK, but it'll be right next door to you, I will buy that ammunition in a heartbeat. Because even though I'm paying a little bit more, I'm A, not traveling as far, which is a time save, and B, I'm not traveling across the region in nullsec, which is also a safety risk in a frigate. So these are all types of considerations. So this is just an example. Put yourself in your customer's shoes. Be the PvPer. Be the industrialist. Be the explorer. Okay. Always position your trades from the viewpoint of who you're trading to. Okay. Don't come in and think, okay, I'm just going to see the market. I'm going to just sell whatever, which I think is going to be valuable, or which I think is going to be personally profitable. Okay. You're not going to make any trades. What you're going to have is a whole bunch of inventory that you're going to be stuck with. Okay. And this leads to the next lesson of being a trader. Okay. Capital for a trader is like ammunition to a PvPer. Okay. You don't have money. You don't have ISK. What you have is capital. And your working capital determines what you can do as a trader. Okay. You want to close out your trades. You want to capture your profit. You don't want yourself in the position, just like in real business, in real life. You don't want to be sitting on top of an enormous amount of inventory for an extended period of time. You want to get them turned around. Okay? ISK is the lifeblood of a trader. Because if you have a whole bunch of sell orders, okay, of illiquid items, whether they're ships, they're expensive modules, all sorts of stuff, and they're not moving, you're actually in a very vulnerable position. You're subject to market moves, or you're just subject to the fact that your sales are not going to move. You're not going to sell anything, okay? And you're going to end up having to sell your inventory either at a fire sale price, which can cause an ISK loss, and you can lose your whole bank account, if you're doing some mega speculation. Or you'll have to, pack it up, put it back in your ship, go back to high sec, go back to major trade hub, and sell it there. And by the time you do, the market would have clearly shifted from when you bought it. Now maybe you'll get lucky. Maybe it shifted upwards, and you'll still come out with a decent profit. Or you can be very unlucky, and it shifts downward, and you take a huge loss. That's the risk. Okay, so getting sales, getting your items turned around in a timely fashion. I'm not going to say it's going to be immediate. And in low sec and null sec, it is going to take some time. Okay, but your competition is much less. Okay, as you saw in the regional trading screen, for like small iridium, there's only 2 people, and I'm one of them. Okay. Maybe in ships, if you go to, let's say expedition frigates, scale endurance, there's only 3 endurances here as the 6 jumps away. There's only 1 trader endurance. Now, we have so far been talking about the sell side of trading. Let's talk a bit about the buy side, because the buy side doesn't get a whole lot of press. As a trader, you can't just go in one direction. You need to buy things as well. And a lot of people think, okay, I buy in a trade hub, I ship it, and I sell in location. That's what most people do. That can work. It's not wrong. But you can do a lot more because it's only in one direction. What about buying in nullsec and selling it in highsec? Or buying in nullsec and reselling it in nullsec or in lowsec? Yeah. There's multiple directions you can trade in. And this is what a good trader will do. They're not going to go just in one direction, like say high sec and sell in low sec or null sec. They can also go in the reverse direction. They can buy in low sec, null sec, and sell in high sec. Okay. And that is where a huge amount of profit can be made, is you going in both directions or in multiple directions. Okay. Don't get fixated on one thing. And this screen is a clear example. Here we have endurance being sold for 20.5 million. Now, this is not bad. But look at these buy orders. What is this? I see this all the time. And this is just clearly indicative of people who have no concept of trading, are not really serious about it, or they're hoping beyond hope that they're going to run across some pilot that needs to fire sell everything. They get ticked off at the game. I'm going to sell everything and quit the game, and that's it. You may get lucky 1 or 2 times that that's going to happen. But that is not how this business works. Okay. You need to make a buy order. You need to sell. Okay. One area to start in this is the mineral market. Any region that doesn't have a healthy mineral market is not going to be able to do a whole lot. So this is part what I call healing the market, where you come into a region and you evaluate the region. Now, I'm not going to give away all my tricks here. Okay. But I will say this. If you're going to create an economy in a region, okay, you've got to start with the mineral market. If there's no mineral market, you're very limited in what can be done, because you're not going to have an industrial base. Okay. And many times the trader will also be the industrialist. Okay. Because, for example, in the volume calculation, it is very, very unprofitable or very, very inefficient to move built ships, for example. But you can move minerals a lot easier, or even better, compressed ore a lot easier. Okay. So as a trader, it's better for you to take compressed ore, refine it on site, and build what you need as you need it, rather than grabbing whole ship and just shipping it over. Okay. That's a little tip and trick, that I use sometimes. Particularly higher volume ships, not really any ships really. But. So let's go back here. Let's take a look at minerals. Okay, so here we have a mineral market, and the mineral market in Curse is actually in a pretty decent shape right now. Okay, but I'm going to show you how to kind of look at it a little bit here. And again, I'm not going to give all my tips and tricks here, but you have to look carefully at the mineral market. So titanium, we're actually in pretty good shape. There's a lot of titanium in some of these places. It's 55 million here in, 55 million titanium here in LJ Dash, my home system. We got some next door where they got a huge amount in CL Dash. Okay. Zydrine, pretty decent. You know, pretty decent numbers here. And Zydrine is so small that, okay, if I need a good amount of Zydrine, is it worth going 9 jumps? Yeah, but you only probably need to do it once with, say, a blockade runner and get a good amount of Zydrine. That'll keep you going for quite a while. Okay. Now, one area that we are struggling with as of right now is Isogen. Isogen is in very low supply in the region. Okay. So we got one guy here. He just posted some Isogen at 455, 8 jumps away. 500,000. That's pretty good. Yeah, you get a pretty good capture here. But how do we fix this? There's a couple ways here, but if you're going to make a buy order, okay, you have to be very clear on how to do it. Okay, and the first rule is this. No matter where you are, if you are in LulzSec, if you're in NullSec, you are always in competition with HiSec and the Mark hubs. EVE Online today is different than it was when it was released. Okay. The wall, the challenge wall, or the danger wall, you could say, between NullSec and the market hubs and HiSec has been reduced significantly. You don't have to really worry too much about gate camps. They're still there on occasionally. I ran into one the other day. But they're not there that as often as they used to be. Because today you have things like jump freighters, you have wormhole space, you have interdiction nullifiers. It is actually quite a bit easier now to get between NullSec to HiSec. Okay. However, it doesn't completely eliminate it. Now the main challenge is distance. Jita right now, from where I'm at, if we just put this in the navigator, 67 jumps away. That is a lot. And actually, I think that's because I got this set up to be less secure, so I go safer here. Okay, even safer, 46 jumps. Shorter, 32 jumps. So that's going through some low sec spots. That is still a long, long ways away. I don't want to make that trip. No one wants to make that trip. So that's where your advantage comes in. But for a buy order, as I mentioned, if you're going to make like these buy orders down here, was 102, where in HiSec right now you're running around 450, no one in NullSec is, or I'd say not many, are going to sell at this low level. Now you may get some people who melt down maybe modules and junk. They just want to get rid of it. You'll probably have a limited amount of those. But that's not enough to heal a market. That's not enough to sustain a market. Okay. Instead, you need good buy orders that are competitive to buy orders in HiSec. If you make a fair and honest buy order, okay, people will take a decent look at it. So like right now, I made a couple buy orders in Isogen. All right. So I made a buy order for 350 ISK here in station and 400 ISK across the region. And this can be the last thing I'm going to mention here. Or within two jumps. The thing about buy orders is this. If you're going to make a buy order, okay, and let's say we're going to make one here. Let's say we're going to go 460. Okay, so now we're competitive. We're now the highest buy order in the region. We want this filled immediately, or as quickly as possible. You have to really know what your strategy is with this buy order. So let's say I want just the minerals in this one station. I don't want to go anywhere. I don't want to move anywhere. I want to treat kind of like as a JITA, so to speak. Well, of course, your range is going to be station. Station requires that you don't move at all, and all the responsibility of moving the materials lies on the seller. Okay, that's whoever has the materials. They have to bring them to you. Okay. So if you're going to buy them here and use them here, you can make a large quantity. Let's say 1 million. Let's make 100,000. Yeah. But keep your minimum at 1. So anyone that shows up with any amount of isogen that shows up in your station can drop them off, be paid. Okay? But let's say you don't want to do that. Because a lot of buyers, they're not going to move a couple bit of isogen to your station. Okay? Let's say, for example, they're over here. We're in L dash, and they're down here in heaven. They're near the main transit route between Derelict and Catch. Yeah, they're in Doral, they're in Utopia. And they have maybe 2,000 isogen. It is not worth it to them to pick up the ice station, move all the way over here, and sell it to you for maybe a minimum amount. Okay? Again, this goes back to putting yourself in your customer's shoes. All right? Now, you want to incentivize them. If they're nearby, maybe a jump or two, you may want to incentivize them. So I make one bid at 460, say 100,000, minimum of 1 at the station, duration 3 months. Okay? Duration, you don't really have to worry about in nullsec. In the trading hubs, it's worthwhile to play around with the duration, but you can just put 3 months maximum and you're fine. Okay? Well, let's say I want to really expand the range here. Okay? So I'm going to drop this down. I'm going to say, all right, you know what? I'm going to make a bid for 380. All right. But I'm going to make this region wide. All right. I want anyone who wants to sell me isogen in the curse region to sell it to me, or at least I'd be a competitive bidder. Okay. Okay. Well, make it 380, quantity 100,000. And now we're going to make this the entire cursed region. And you're good to go. No, you're not. I made this mistake before. Because what does this mean? This means at quantity 1, any player, no matter how little isogen they have, can sell it to you, and then you're going to have isogen all over the region, which means you have to go get it. And that is a pain in the rear. All right, that's not worth my time. This is where the minimum quantity comes in. This is where now I, the buyer, sit down and say, all right, I'm going to extend the net. I'm going to make the net pretty big across the whole region. But how much is it worth to me to actually get in my ship, take the risk of going out to you, pick him up, and bring it back? That's my time. And my time's not free. I only have a limited amount of playtime that I have. It's not a lot. Okay. So I will sit down and say, you know what? I will come out to if you sell a minimum of 1,000 isogen. Okay. And this does two things. First of all, anyone who sells 1,000 isogen or more that you deem to be worth your time to go out and get, you will complete that order, but it will cut out all kind of a small fry or small sellers that have 1, 2, whatever little isogen. They will not be able to sell into your buy order. Okay. The other great thing is, and again, this was a mistake I made. I did this before. You're gonna have isogen all over the region, and then your personal assets of the region list is going to explode all over the place. You're going to have stuff everywhere, and it takes quite a while to clean up. You got to go to every single station, pick up every little bit of isogen, and bring it back. And this took quite a while, and it's a lesson I didn't forget. So if you're going to do a region-wide buy order, put the minimum quantity, and again, this is especially true for minerals, all right, at a level that it would be worthwhile to you for you to go out and get, okay, and bring back. And that's the way how to look at it. Okay, so you can buy your isogen, and now, again, you facilitate that transaction with the miners or the PvPers who melt down the modules and whatnot, scrap metal processing. Now you can turn around and do a couple things with it. You could sell it back on the market, a direct trade. Yeah, and that is the wholesale trader mentality. You buy the isogen, okay, you get it, and then you turn around and you make the sell order for the isogen, okay? You sell it into the region. The other thing you can do is also you can use it. It's a consumable product. Let's say you actually want to sell a battle cruiser. Let's say again you want to sell, let's say a Myrmidon. You want to sell a Myrmidon. How much does it take to, let's look at the blueprint to make a Myrmidon. Okay, you need 20,000 isogen. Again, this is without research or anything. So you need a maximum amount of 20,000 isogen to make one Myrmidon. Okay. So if you're a trader in nullsec and you want to sell a ship, it's better to use the minerals, buy them off the market, or bring them in. But here in case we're using a buy order, take that buy order and then create the ship, the finished product that you want to sell. Then you take the role of the industrialist, or you can do both. I say you get a good amount of isogen. You sell some onto the market. You can use others in your production chain. Okay, and now here you are kind of a quasi trader and industrialist. You know? But again, with the challenges of moving a large volume items like ships, okay, you kind of need to take on a hybrid role in many cases. Okay. So anyways, that is going to be my video on trading. Again, it doesn't cover everything. I haven't covered, for example, ships, what type of ships you should use and things like that. There are a couple other videos for that. And again, I didn't deep dive into station trading. That's kind of a separate topic. Okay, this video was focused on being a trader, the theory of trading, and what are some of the things and strategies you can use when you're further away from the trade hubs and you're out in nullsec or out in lowsec to be a viable trader in those areas. Again, are you going to be as filthy wealthy as a trader in a trade hub and you catch the rising wave of an overall market move? Probably not, but it's a lot more fun, and to me it's a lot more challenging. And when you hit it and you make it win, you make it big. And the other great thing is you expand the game beyond high sec. You actually make nullsec and lowsec a viable place for people to play and for people to live in even line. They're not always having to go back to high sec for whatever. And that's a beautiful thing. So anyways, my name is Alex. I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, not much action going on. It was more station spinning and me talking about things just from my own experiences and how to go forward. And again, I'm not too worried about talking about some of my tips and tricks because the real challenge is in the application, not knowing what it is. Yeah. So experiment. See what works, see what doesn't. Sometimes things work, sometimes they don't. But when you find something that works, it is awesome. Anyways, take care, everyone. Good luck in your trading career, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.